What's up, y'all, and welcome to my what to do, where to stand, what to use, where to shoot full guide on the Warlord's Ruin solo flawless dungeon. Just basically wanted to do a live commentary walkthrough of everything. I took the liberty of going ahead and getting into the first boss. I don't really think people need to see the intro section, but just want to get right into it. First things first, I want to show the build that I'm using. The subclass loadout is going to remain absolutely identical for the entirety of this run. So whatever you see on screen right here, you can screenshot this, copy this in. This is what is going to be used in the subclass department for the entire run. Trapper's Ambush, Vanishing Step, Echoes of Obscurity, Starvation, Persistence, and Harvest. Got Vortex Grenade, Gambler's Dodge, and Shadow Shot Deadfall. As far as my actual mods, exotic armor pieces, and weapons, those will kind of change throughout each encounter, and I'll go through each of those as we get to each encounter. For the first encounter, my personal favorite thing to use here is Lament. I think it's fantastic for surviving, does really, really solid damage, really ammo efficient, and I just love everything about it. So in terms of the mod setup I've got going here, I've got a Solar Weapon Surge to go, help out the Lament's damage. I've got Solar Scavenger to make sure I'm topped off on Lament ammo. Time dilation, so the solar weapon surge lasts a little bit longer. And then you'll notice I'm using a lot of solar stuff, solar siphon, solar loader, along with a solar SMG. The reason for that is a lot of the artifact mods are centered around solar weapons this season. And don't worry if you don't have all of these artifact mods unlocked yet. Specifically in the final column solo operative, this isn't really going to change whether or not you can solo floss the dungeon. It's really at the end of the day just going to make it so you might have to do an extra DPS phase on a boss or something like that. But the mods that are important, I would say, that are relatively easy to get are Kindling Trigger right here in the second column, where Radiant causes solar weapons to apply Scorch. The reason we want that is because we'll be Radiant a lot because we're going to be using Flint Striker, where Rapid Solar Weapon Precision hits and Rapid Solar Weapon Final Blows grant Radiant, which is what we're getting by using Callus's mini tool. So we can get Radiant even though we're on a Void subclass, which is really, really nice. As far as the other mods, I really just have them so I can get onto this column. Wish into Being is kind of decent if you want to get more supers. And Solo Operative is obviously fantastic for solo falls in a dungeon. Argent Ordnance would be what I would set up if I had my 12th unlock, but yeah, it's kind of what we got going right now. The only other mods I want to mention that are super important are Loosened Blades right here, and then I have two solar resistance mods because this boss deals solar damage. Aside from that, you can probably just go in and I'll start walking through and talking through what I do for this first boss. So go ahead and give him a little shot to start it up, and then I'll immediately dodge so that I can proc Reaper and get an orb from my next weapon, Final Blow. So boss will spawn in a bunch of dudes. Kill that guy. I actually waited too long to kill him, used my dodge a little too early, so instead I can weaken them, create a Void Breach and an orb from Echo of Harvest. Reason I love picking those up is because that gives me Devour from the Echo of Starvation. Then of course get teleported into the cage, look around for the 3 eyeballs, and then we're going to want to go ahead and cleanse these totems. Sometimes you get lucky and he puts them right next to each other. Other times you can only really get one because they're far away. Whatever ends up happening, do whatever you can. If you can only do one, then you only do one, that's fine. Right as I enter DPS phase, I'll go ahead and drop a tether on him, and I'm going to just absolutely whack him with Lament. Now, for this section, your Lament combo is actually very, very important. And so I kind of want to talk about the Lament combo as I'm going through this encounter. So the Lament combo that you want to do in sequential order is while you're holding the Lament and while you're blocking, you're going to do 2 light attacks and then a heavy attack. Then immediately after you finish that heavy attack, you're going to let go of the block button and do 2 regular light attacks. After you finish those 2 regular light attacks, you're going to repeat the entire process. So it's basically block, 2 light heavy, 2 regular light, repeat. Now, another thing that is going to not only help a lot with the tracking of your Lament sword so that you're not like flying past the boss all the time, and what's going to help that combo go a little bit faster is what a lot of people don't know about Lament is that if you hold a movement key while you are doing the Lament combo, your block will pull up more quickly in between the combos, allowing you to have a much faster DPS rotation. So what I mean by that is, if I, for example, do this, and I do my regular, well, let me actually get into a bit of a safer spot real quick where not everything is staring at me. If I'm holding my sword out like this, and I do a swing, and I do a block, it kind of takes a hot minute to pop up. Whereas if I hold a movement key while I do that, see how it comes up significantly more quickly? So, for that reason, I love to just like hold the S key. I personally hold S, or you would hold back pedal on your joystick if you're using a controller. I love holding that because, one, it really, really helps with the tracking on the boss. And two, it makes your combo way more quick, which means more DPS, and it means more healing, which means more reliable survivability. So that is a huge part of the Lament combo. I highly recommend, if you're not used to that, you can go into the Enclave and practice it for a little bit to kind of get used to that. But having that locked down is going to make this encounter a heck of a lot easier. So right now, I'm just trying to cleanse this totem. I have Devour up right now, so I'm not too worried about dying, because as long as I just keep killing enemies, I'm getting all my HP back. And I have one totem closed. About to start DPS, and I'm going to go ahead and tether. That's going to pull everything in, so I don't have to deal with any adds on this DPS phase. Holding the S key the entire time. Block, light, light, heavy, regular, light, block, light, heavy, regular, light, and rinse and repeat. As you can see, we've already gone down to half HP after about 2 DPS phases. And speaking of DPS phases, another thing I want to mention about this encounter that's extremely important is I would say that this is a pretty dangerous encounter for dealing boss damage if you have a ton of adds up, and it's not particularly easy to keep all of the adds dead going into a DPS phase, considering all of the other stuff that you have to do and the limited time that you have to do it. So, a big tip I have for you for this encounter is that you do not have to do DPS on every available DPS phase. If you want to wait to get your super before you go ahead and go into a DPS phase, that is 100% okay. So for example, right here, if I'm fighting enemies and I feel like I'm not going to have my super in time, and let's say theoretically there were a ton of enemies up, I could just not do damage here and skip this phase. Now, there's not a whole lot of enemies up, so I'm confident that I can get at least a little bit of damage in without putting myself at too much risk. But nope, and the boss is completely teleported. But now that enemies are starting to pile in, I'm just going to say, you know what, I'm not really going to worry too much about dealing a ton of damage on this phase. I'm just going to go one more phase, get my super energy so I have my tether, because what my tether can do is pull everything in and make it so I can instantly wipe all the enemies, make the DPS phase a lot safer, and that's all I'm really going to worry about. So that's another big thing to consider, is that you never really have to greed with DPS phases. This is a dungeon, which means bosses will never, ever, ever enrage. There's no enrage mechanics in dungeons. So you have all the time in the world. You are in absolutely no rush. It's typically better to just kind of take your time. As far as when you get teleported into the cages and you're wanting to kill the eyeballs, here's, by the way, what I meant when I said you get lucky sometimes. Right here, I got lucky that he spawned both of the totems right next to each other, so I can cleanse them both at the same time, get a really long DPS phase. If that happens, sweet, but it's not always going to happen. Sometimes you're only going to get one totem's worth of DPS phase. It's just kind of how it is. So over here, trying to grab that heavy brick, and here's our DPS phase, so I can go ahead and pop my tether, and that's going to allow me to kill literally every ad on the planet. And then I can just go ahead and Lament the day away. Also debuffs him, obviously, too. Lament is really nice as well, because his stomps basically are never really going to set you back, because you're just going to sword right back into him. So, yeah. As far as the eyes go in the cage, I was trying to talk about that. My recommendation for dealing with those is to always scan from bottom to top. 99% of the time, the eyes are going to be above you. So if you're keeping your eye level on the bottom, you're going to kind of see the eyes as the cage goes up and as your field of view goes up. So I'll kind of try to explain that a little bit better when I get teleported in right here. So right here, I see I've got an eye right there, and then I'm just kind of looking my way up. Starting my eye level down, moving my way up. So here, I would really love to get my tether up so I can actually get this DPS phase in. So it looks like I'm going to be able to, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to capture this totem in time. Just barely did. Perfect. So here's our DPS phase, and this is, like I said, the solar resistances are because his gun is solar. It's going to help you survive a little bit. Now, here, if you want to speed up your run a little bit, I will try to pull up an Eager Edge Sword and try and find a heavy brick. If we get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't. It's fine. For the cages, right when you spawn in, you'll turn around, you'll see a stone with tally marks. Whatever number is on here is the number of wheels that need to be spinning clockwise, which basically means you need to activate them 3 times. Because the first activation will be counterclockwise, second activation will stop them, third activation will be clockwise. And the other one will be the number that you have to have spinning counterclockwise. I apologize. I don't. On this one, I can't remember what I said. I might have said counterclockwise on this one. This one is clockwise. If I said counterclockwise, I apologize. I meant clockwise. So this one is clockwise. This one is counterclockwise. Can't really remember what I said, but I feel like I might have said it wrong. Since there's 6 total wheels, these 2 numbers will always add up to 6. So if you look at this number, you already know what this number is going to be. As far as the other 2 wheels go, once you're in this room over here, just go ahead and hop up. And you can run across, hop down in this room, go ahead and kill that guy. And then you'll have a wheel right there, and a wheel right there. And so now we've all got all of them spinning properly according to the numbers, hit the lever, and then we are good. Run over here, pick up this heavy brick so I get some more Eager Edge ammo, make this go a little more quickly. And I'd recommend watching this part just so you kind of have an idea of like what to look out for in this maze, because dying to a set of spikes is going to be really annoying. I know typically people don't consider the traversal areas necessary to watch in a Solo Falls dungeon guide, but there's a lot of stuff that can kill you in these traversal areas if you're not careful about it, so kind of recommend just taking a peek. You never actually have to kill any of these enemies, so I love using invisibility to just kind of run past everything. So we're going to turn 180 degrees right there. I love just kind of trying to mind my business and stay hidden. Those are spikes right there, so be careful of those. Hop over those guys, you'll hop over this hole, and then this right here is your first set of spikes, so we're just going to hop right over that. Then we're going to continue onward down this lane. Obviously another set of spikes. Don't try and get fancy with it. Don't try and slide under them. I know it's technically possible. Just play it safe. Crouch, crab walk. You'll be a lot, you know. You lose 2 seconds, but it's infinitely safer. Once you get through here, you'll want to come to the left a little bit. You'll see 2 more right here. So we're going to kind of butt up against this wall and walk into the wall at an angle. So we go forward, but obviously we don't move into those spikes. And then here, of course, again, hop right over these, take a right, and then you'll continue. There are 5 total sets of spikes you have to avoid, by the way. So that was the 4th that we just went by. Something to keep in mind. Here, I always get a little confused. There we go. And then there's some spikes right there. And then we'll walk down here. Invis, so I don't have to deal with these guys. And then we'll hop up here. Through this door. And then we're going to go over here. Down this hole. And we're just going to roam over here. I actually lied. There's only 4 sets of spikes. So if you run into a 5th set of spikes, then you went the wrong way. Not entirely sure why I thought there were... Uh-oh. Kind of messed up there. I must have gone the wrong way in one of my previous Solo Flawless runs and just forgot and assumed that there were 5. Yeah, there's only 4 sets of spikes that you should come across. If you come across more, then you've done too many. So we'll just continue making our way. I think here you take a right. Yep. And for this section, a lot of these rocks can fall. So just be very careful. Be very mobile. I'm not entirely sure if there's a way to tell which ones can fall. Like, I know this one can fall, I believe. Or no, it's maybe this one that can fall. I can't really remember. Apparently. I know this one can fall. So, yeah, just be a little careful in these sections. Last thing you want to die to is a falling rock. And then for here, and this is why I love playing Invis Hunter for these sections, is you just kind of pretend like everything doesn't exist. So we're just going to keep on running. And running. And then we're going to take a left over here. Whoa! That was a really weird momentum carry. Don't do it. This rock right here, this is where you have to go. But this rock will fall. So be very careful. In fact, I almost recommend just like not even messing with that rock. Because it gives you a false sense of confidence. So make our way up here. And then through this door. And then we're basically right at the second boss. Just a couple more steps. And boom, second boss. Now for the second boss, we'll change our loadout up to a Wither Horde, rockets, and we're going to keep our Callus's mini tool. I've heard that Malfeasance can be decent. I've heard that Dragon's Breath can be decent. I tried both. At the end of the day, I really, really liked Rocket and Wither Horde. It felt the best for me. It felt the most consistent for me. And I never found that I had issues with ammo. Like I said at the beginning of the video, subclass layout is staying exactly the same. Armor mods are changing slightly. We're now going 2 arc resistances because a lot of the things that can hurt you severely in here deal arc damage. The eyes shoot arc, the ogres shoot arc, and then we're going 1 void resistance because there are some scorn snipers that deal void damage. We're also going to take a solar weapon surge and a solar scavenger for a solar rocket, a time dilation to extend the duration of that surge, and a solar loader for our Callus's mini tool SMG along with solar siphon. Now in this fight, being able to get Radiant with rapid solar weapon precision hits is really, really awesome because it basically allows you to spray the boss in the face and get Radiant during your DPS phases, even though we're on a Void subclass. So that can be really, really nice. Other than that, I think I'll just kind of show you guys how I take this one. This one's probably going to be a bit of a... This is probably one of the longer fights. Looking probably like a 4 phase or something like that, so this one's going to require a lot of patience, but I'm going to show you how you can get through the phases relatively quickly. So we're going to start out here. I'm going to go ahead and Wither Horde this, throw a grenade over there, then I'm going to dodge to proc Reaper, so I end up getting Devour, and I'm going to start off by dropping these 2 Servile Minotaurs, just because they're pretty tanky. Mechanically, you don't actually have to kill them to do anything specific in this fight. I just take them out because they're tanky and annoying. Once you kill those Minotaurs, and once we have Devour, we can start taking out these eyes. I always like going left to right, and I find that you can kind of ignore everything else in the arena so long as you have Devour up and you're taking out the eyes really quickly, because the eyes will proc your Devour, give you 100 HP back, and have you good to go. Then, I like to come off that final eye, and I like to come over here to kill this boss right here. I always wait until he makes a totem before I kill him, so that on death he'll drop a totem and then I have 2. Ideally, I like to have them crisscrossing and have Venn diagram. As far as the storm goes, my personal rule is whenever I have biting cold times 6, that is my time to say, okay, it is time for me to go. I can't be here anymore. 6 is my magic number. You can play around. You might find that, you need to start running at 5, or maybe you can greed until 7. 6 for me is what works the best. Sometimes I'll even go at 5. Under no circumstance should you greed those totems. Like, listen, I know that we all want to get through this as quick as humanly possible, but, trying to greed out a totem and dying for it and losing your whole solo flawless run, it's not worth, like, the, minute that you would save by not having to do another phase. That's going to bring up 2 balls if we can get 2 totems, but I'm not going to touch them whatsoever, because as long as you don't interact with the balls, they will just stay there forever, and you'll kind of see why I like to do that in a second. First things first, though, I love to come over here and kill the Scorn Snipers, because they hurt really, really badly. So there's 2 on each side. We're going to drop both of them. And then once we drop both of them, we can go back and do another wave of eyes, so we can spawn those Scorn Captains again. I'll also kill some of the Acolytes, just so they're not too much stuff shooting at me. Kill these eyes, once again left to right, because I want to end up on the right side. You could deal with the guy on that side instead if you would like. In my personal opinion, the right side feels a lot safer. There's a lot more cover, so I like always killing this one. Up to you at the end of the day. So we're just going to Wither Horde, grenade, and we're going to kind of chill on him a little bit until he drops a totem. Once he drops a totem, we're going to stand in the totem while we kill him, so we can start charging this totem. That way we can possibly even get it done before the second one even spawns. Again, once Biting Cold is at 6, we're immediately running to our safety totem to drop our stacks so we don't freeze to death. Then we can come over here and finish this off. And then once we finish that off, we're chilling by the fire totem until our imminent wish is gone and the wintry storm dies down. That way we don't have to worry about any of that. Now, once I get to this stage, before I even start dunking the balls, I completely focus on, 1, making sure that my Devourer is back up, so let's get that back up, and 2, making sure that all of the Scorn Snipers are dead, because I do not want to deal with Scorn Snipers in the middle of my DPS phase, because that sounds super, super, super annoying. So we're going to make sure all the Scorn Snipers are dead. We'll have 2 over on this side, and then when we backtrack to the side we just finished up on, we'll have another 2. However, they'll typically chase you to middle. So that is all of the Scorn Snipers dead, which means now I can start picking up the balls and depositing them. You can kill ads while you're doing this if you want to be safer. Me personally, I just use invis cooldowns, and I like to kill an ad here and there just to keep my Devour buff timer up. But killing the Acolytes and Scorn enemies doesn't matter too much because they'll just infinitely respawn. And killing the eyes isn't necessary because the eyes will automatically despawn right when you enter the DPS phase. You can kill a few of them if you want to keep your Devourer buff timer up and just so there's a little less heat on you. But you definitely don't want to kill all of them because then you would send yourself into another storm phase and spawn the big Scorn guys again, which would obviously completely mess up your DPS phase. So I'm going to come over here, get the final ball, and I'm going to dunk it in here. And then to start, I always love to Wither Horde the boss, and then I like to start kind of clearing out some of the ads nearby me, just a little bit. And then I'm going to start doing my DPS rotation, Wither Horde, SMG, Rocket. And you're also going to have some Thrall spawn while you're doing this. Because of that, you need to be very, very, very aware of your surroundings while doing this. Because the last thing you want is a Thrall to walk in front of you while you're in the middle of shooting a rocket. For that reason, I always recommend kind of either sticking a Wither Horde in, right underneath your feet whenever possible. And if you're not completely aware of your surroundings, you don't know if there might be a Thrall nearby you or not, jump when you shoot rockets. Those are the 2 big tips I have for this section. They tend to work pretty well for me. I'm also trying to sneak in some rockets on, sorry, not some rockets, some SMG shots on the boss's face to try and get enough precision crit shots to get that Radiant buff from my artifact mod. Sometimes I'm able to get it, other times I'm not. This is a situation where I'm seemingly having a bit of a tougher time getting it, but right there, as you can see, I was able to proc it. So we're just going to go ahead and continuously go back and forth between the auto-loading Wither Horde, my Reconstruction Rocket, and SMG shots. Hopefully can't get one more rocket shot in, that's okay. So once our DPS phase ends, we're going to try and get our Devourer buff back. Dodge for Reaper, make an orb, pick it up. Echo of Starvation gives us Reaper. Or sorry, Echo of Starvation gives us Devourer when we pick up the orb. And then we can maintain Devour while we go ahead and clean up those 2 Servile Minotaurs that are going to spawn brand new in this phase. So I just like to stick with Wither Horde, go invisible, clean up some of the trash mobs, all that jazz. They're not too hard to kill, but, definitely don't want to underestimate them because they deal a decent amount of damage compared to a lot of the other enemies in the arena. And then we can start going on our eyes again. And some big tips I have for this section, as you can see here, are, understand what you're here for, right? There is going to be infinitely spawning Acolytes and Scorn. Don't spend too much time killing them, because if you're just spending all your time killing them, you're going to spend, way more time than necessary on this encounter. Do your best to, obviously clear out the arena if it's dangerous, but for the most part, your priority is to get to these Scorn bosses. So right here, looks like I got lucky, got the little Venn diagram situation, looking at my Biting Cold stacks. Okay, boom, I'm at 6. I'm immediately making my way back to the totem, dropping them off. And the Biting Cold stacks drop off pretty quickly, so don't make the mistake of spending too much time at the totem. You typically only need to sit here for like 2 or 3 seconds to drop all your stacks and go back. Another thing too is you'll notice the Ogre will shoot at you while you're at this platform, and since it's a taken Ogre, his shots will push you back. Make sure not to be jumping back and forth between that totem and the fire totem and the Taken Darkness totems, because then you'll end up with a situation where the boss might shoot at you and hit you, and you'll fall off of the arena. You, of course, have your Shadow Dive, your air move that you can use to kind of like save you in situations if you like find that he's shoving you off the ledge. But better to not have to use that. Just be very careful when you're jumping near this back wall, since obviously the boss can shoot you. Certain areas you can jump just fine because he can't really see you, but more often than not, try not to be jumping. Like I said here, we're going to take out these Scorn Snipers just because they're a really, really big threat. Once we take them out, we can go ahead and get back to taking out all of the eyes. So I'm just going to clean up some of the Acolytes to keep up my Devourer and to make sure that there's not too much stuff shooting at me. And we're going to sweep the eyes from left to right, just like last time. Clean up some more of the Acolytes, and we'll get the final eye. Get this corner right here. Kill the regular Scorn so they're not bugging us, and so we keep our Devour buff up. And we're going to wait to burn him until he puts up his totem. I think it's okay to stick him with the Wither Horde here, because it shouldn't stagger him. Boom, there goes his totem. And we got them close enough together again, which is fantastic. Chill right here. X5 and X6, so I'm out of here. I've already got both of the totems done, though, so I can actually just sit here for the rest of the phase. I do have to sit here, because even though I'm, like, done with the totems, the storm's going to keep going. If you sit on the right side of this pillar, as you can see, I still have shelter from the storm. I'm like right behind here, and it pretty much makes it impossible for the boss to hit you. So if you finish early, that's a place where you can stand and be relatively safe. Like I said, after we wrap up there, we're going to do the same thing we did last time, where we're going to come over here, keep killing these Scorn enemies, and especially the snipers, so that they're not bugging us during DPS phase. So there's 2 dead right there. And then we'll come over here, clean up some of the trash, and kill the other 2 snipers that just spawned. If you couldn't tell, by the way, the Scorn snipers spawn at the end of the Winter Storm phase. That's what procs their spawn. So, the more you know. So, grab this first charge. You can typically run pretty fast with it, so that's why I'm not too worried about going invis. I'm also going to kill an eye right there so I can keep my Devourer buff stacking, and so I have a little less heat when I take future eyes into this field. Not eyes, sorry. Charges. Dodge to refresh my invis and get my smoke bomb back. And we're going to dunk this bad boy as well. Get a little Wither Horde shot down, try and keep our Devourer up. Fantastic. And then these eyes are kind of annoying me, so I'm going to kill a few more of them. If you really want to be safe, you kill 5. Like I said before, don't kill 6, because, you know. But yeah. I also want to show one more thing about this DPS phase that I don't know if y'all noticed I was doing, but can be very, very helpful. For the DPS phase, your DPS on the plate kind of ends when the ogre gets to you, which means it can be very, very helpful to, when deciding which plate to go to next, to kind of zigzag. So I'm going to go all the way across this arena to this one because it's the furthest one away from the one that I was just at, which means it's going to take this ogre the longest amount of time to get to. Remember, like I said, we're going to have Thrall spawning on us, so I'm going to shoot the occasional Wither Horde on the ground and make sure I jump when I shoot my rocket. Make sure I do keep Wither Hordes in the boss, though. And I do see some heavy bricks as well, so I'm going to go over here because there's a ton of heavy bricks over on this one. Get my SMG shots to get Radiant. Get my double rockets off. Shoot him. And we're just going to keep on blasting them. Taking a little bit of heat here, so I'm going to use my invisibility. Pick up a whole bunch more rockets. And then go to my final plate. And he doesn't want to look at me for some reason. It's fine. Just keep nuking him. Got about 4 more seconds. Try and get maybe another Wither Horde off, and we're good. So, well below half HP. As you can see, this is a pretty safe 4 phase. Like I said, though, I do have Solo Operative on my artifact. And I'm about 8 power levels above with my artifact. So, if you're a little lower than that, or you don't have Solo Operative, you can still do all of this the exact same way. Your strategy doesn't change at all. You just might have to do 5 DPS phases instead of 4, which, to be 1000% honest, if you're capable of doing 4 DPS phases perfectly on this boss, you're also capable of doing 5. Doesn't really make any difference in terms of like whether or not you could, in theory, do the run. But I'm just gonna show the final part. There is one more thing I want to show that can happen on occasion when fighting this boss, and I do want y'all to be able to see that. And, you know, I think practice makes perfect, so let's keep showing the strategy just so you guys have a solid grip on what to do, and, I don't know, maybe just looking for something to watch, keep yourself entertained. I don't know. Appreciate y'all who always watch my videos. It's, awesome. Oh, this is a good thing to note. If the boss ever spawns it early, don't feel like you can't use a rocket to burn him down early. So, like, right there, the boss spawned the totem pretty much right away, and I didn't really have him anywhere near being dead. So I just said, like, hey, I'll burn a rocket on him. As you can see, as long as you have a heavy ammo finder, that's literally all I have. Getting heavy ammo is not a problem in any capacity here. Devourer ran out because I wasn't killing enemies, so I'm going to make sure to dodge to make an orb so I can get my Devourer going again. Get it stacking. And then we'll go ahead and start clearing out some of these dudes. I'm killing the eyes in the wrong order, so probably shouldn't do that. Instead, I'm just going to go ahead and sweep over here. And I'm playing with fire a little bit here, jumping up. But like I said, I know I have my Shadow Dive, my Quick Fall, my Air Move. So if the Ogre does start shooting at me and he starts moving me the other direction, I of course know that I can just hit a little Shadow Dive and I'll be fine. I'll go straight to the ground. That is something you definitely have to be aware of when you're doing this fight. So I know we have 2 more Scorn Snipers up, so I do want to kill them real fast. I think I saw him come over here. I'm also going to kill the trash just to make sure that I keep my Devourer going. I think I already killed one of the Scorn Snipers. It's kind of tough to know sometimes because they, you know, they go invisible and travel around on the floor and whatnot, but pretty sure I'm good. Clear out these dudes. I have 2 more eyes. And we can go ahead and head up here and prepare to kill this guy. Get our Wither Horde on him. Kill the trash so we keep our Devourer going. And so here, we're going to lay off on the damage a little bit, give him an opportunity to put his totem down. Unfortunately, he just decided to never do it. So in this situation, I've got the 1 totem. It kind of sucks, but it just means I'm going to have to do another rotation of the eyes. If you want to, if you're feeling confident in your abilities to survive, you can just go straight to the eyes and not have to worry about killing the snipers. Killing the snipers is not 100% necessary. It just makes it a little bit more safe. So it's kind of, you know, up to your discretion. I'll let you make that decision for yourself. Need to get my Devourer back up, so we're going to head to dodge to make an orb from Reaper. And then we're going to get right back onto the battlefield. And me personally, I'm just going to kind of show what it looks like if you're not going to kill the Scorn Snipers and you want to go straight to the eyes. It's not too big of an issue, but you should be ready and willing to immediately go ahead and use invis cooldowns in between eyes if you feel like you're not going to kill one of them instantly, or like while you're reloading, for example, because they're sniper shots. They just do a ton of damage, so you do need to be careful. And now, since we already have 3 balls, I don't really need to wait for this guy to spawn one of his totems, even though he decided to, so that's really cool, I guess. But theoretically, we could have just insta-killed him, even if he wasn't going to spawn one, because we, of course, already have 3. We only needed 1 totem. So right there, right when we're at 6 stacks, we're going to make our way over there. I'm going to come back over here real quick and just kill a couple of these guys to maintain my Devourer buff. So we're going to chill here. And we know that we have Scorn Snipers up, so I'm going to use my invis cooldowns here just to make sure that I don't get caught off guard by them. Kill these guys for Devourer. And now we have our 4th ball, and we get back into our rhythm of running over and killing the Scorn Snipers. And I see that I have, like, all of the rocket ammo in the universe, so I'm actually just going to, like, use rockets to kill the Scorn Snipers, too. Because I'm not hurting for rocket ammo in any capacity. Whatever makes it faster, right? I think we're good on the Scorn Snipers on this side. So I'll run over here, take that dude out, take that dude out. And then, I guess we must kill the other one on that side already, and I just didn't realize it. So, yeah. Like I said before, another thing you can do, I know I've said it before, but, like, before you even go out and start dunking the balls, you can just, like, kill the burning eyes from a distance. Makes things a little safer for you. As you can see here, literally nothing is shooting at me. So, helps out a little bit. So, we'll kill those dudes. I always like to do the back ones first. Don't really know why. The back ones are harder to get, I suppose, so get the hard ones out of the way first. Another thing worth noting, you can throw your grenade into your shadow dive while you're holding the ball. So if you have to do a shadow dive, go invis, or you want to throw a grenade at some acolytes to proc your devour and keep that going, totally can. We're going to go ahead and dunk there. We're going to mop up a few of these acolytes, make the intro to our DPS phase a little bit easier. Grab our final ball. And boom, like I said, we're going to start off right away with the Wither Horde, try and blast his face to get Radiant, didn't end up getting it, that's okay. We're going to shoot some rockets, jump while we're shooting them, just in case of Thrall. And since I don't have Devour, I'm going to dodge before I kill this Thrall, just to get an orb real fast, so I do pick up Devour. I'm also going to go Invis before I go to the next plate, so that the boss doesn't know where I am, and so he doesn't follow me while I'm running here. Gonna give me more time on this plate to put some more heat into him and throw a grenade at my feet for the same reason that I said I should shoot Wither Horde at my feet on occasion, just because Thrall are coming. And we're gonna sauce him up, keep it going. Still a Devour, which I really, really love, and we have a heavy brick down here. So I'm gonna start off here by killing these two Thrall. And my Wither Horde is not reloading, which really sucks, which means this DPS phase is gonna be kind of brutal. Another thing that sucks is I don't have any invis cooldowns right now, so I'm going to have to play a little bit more careful. Thankfully, I have orbs right here. And I'm looking at my radar. If you ever see me not jump when I shoot my rocket, it's because I'm looking at my radar and I see that there are no enemies in my vicinity, so I know I'm pretty safe. So, yep, it's about the end of that DPS phase. The DPS phase wasn't particularly good because the boss rushed me on a couple of plates and because I messed up my shots a little bit. For example, having my Wither Horde out while I was running to a new plate resulted in it not auto-loading, which means I didn't have it ready for the boss. So, yeah. Might be a 5 phase, I don't know. Another thing I want you to notice is, I don't know if you guys noticed right there, but the boss has begun tracking me much more aggressively than he was before. When you start to get the boss a little bit weaker, as most ogres do, sometimes he'll start like just sprinting at you, which can be a real pain for the DPS phases and make things a little bit more dangerous in the intermission phases because he'll just start like coming after you and ground pound you and just charging you. Something to just keep an eye out for. Like I said, if we ever get an early spawn, we just insta-kill with a rocket because we have so much heavy ammo. When Biting Cold is at 6, I'm not greeting for that. That's our time to go. And then we can come back here, Venn diagram these two. 1 and 2. Biting Cold's at 5, so wasn't risking anything doing that. I'll stay on the side so the boss can't hit me. And I'm going to try and get down here and keep my Devour going. Unfortunately, I did not, so I'll have to dodge, get a shot, pick up the orb, boom, Devour's back, and we're good to go. Also Wither Horde that right there. And I'm feeling confident that my survivability is in a pretty good spot, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and shoot a rocket right there to take out... I don't know if I got both of the snipers or if I only got one, but I'm not going to concern myself with the other snipers too much. I'm pretty confident in my survivability right now, and I don't want to make this video too long. So I'm going to save a little bit of time. If you're like, you know, really do not want to repeat your solo flawless run, do everything you can to stay safe, and that includes just making sure the snipers get taken out in between every phase. So, yeah. So, gonna go ahead and drop this guy here. Biting Cold is on its way to 6, so immediately we're gonna rush over. Second I see it all gone, I'm going back. Got a little Venn diagram action again, which is fantastic. Hopefully I get this one in time before I hit 6. Just barely, which is great. Gonna go ahead and drop these enemies so we can maintain Devour. What's up, buddy? We're gonna move to the right a little bit so the boss can't shoot at us. Great. And nope, got a Scorn Sniper right there. So let's make sure we keep him dead. And we're gonna run over here, take care of these other Scorn Snipers. Hopefully kill them all with that rocket. There was one down there, one up here. So now I know they're both dead. And then we're just going to make sure that no new scorn snipers respawned and are on their way over here to us. Looks like we're good. So, make our way over. Dunk our balls. My DPS is good. I should be able to kill here. Let's hope I am able to so that this video isn't ridiculously long. Hoping to get it under an hour. But we'll see what happens. Keep our Devour up. I'm hoping too that my like methodical approach to this video is helpful for some. The mindset I have with this video compared to the mindset that I'll have towards my like more general solo flawless guide for each of the 3 specific classes is that I'm hoping that this one not only helps you solo flawless this dungeon a little bit more easily, but also helps you just like become a better player overall, because I'm hoping that some of the lessons that I'm showing in here are going to become, you know, are going to be useful beyond just solo flawless in a dungeon. So hopefully that is an effect of you watching this. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't. I don't really know. Let's hope it is. My DPS phase is already kind of disgusting right now, so I feel like it's going to be a 5 phase. But, good learning lesson, it's okay if you do a 5 phase, okay? Do not greed for extra damage. Do not put yourself in a crappy position because you're trying to rush the kill. This is another thing I wanted to show you. Like I said, sometimes the Ogre, when you get him like really low HP, he will just absolutely rush you and cut your DPS phases so short. It is super annoying. He'll just like track you through invis, or like the second that you pop up, he'll just full speed ahead sprint at you. Super annoying. Don't really know what causes that or how to stop it. As far as I can tell, it just happens when he's low HP. So just something to look out for. That sucks. I was really close to killing him. Now we have to go through a whole new phase. But that's okay. I'm going to throw a smoke bomb to weaken these guys so I can kill one, get a Void Breach and Orbs through Echo of Harvest, pick them up to get the power through Echo of Starvation. Can help out a lot. And I have no invis cooldowns, so I don't really feel safe running out here, so I'm just going to kill these guys from this room. And then once I get invis cooldowns back, I'm good to start getting busy. Okay. And out of invis cooldowns again, but that's okay. Because I can just kind of chill right here. Crouch. Run out here. Got my dodge. I could also just kill stuff because I do have Devour. See what I mean? See how when the boss gets weak, he just starts charging you. Just gets like super pissed off. It is very annoying. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this, that the boss might just start full sprinting at you. Whereas he'll tend to be a little more mild during these phases when you're just doing this regularly. So we're going to go ahead and keep our invis cooldowns up. Kill all those eyes, slow and steady. And wait for this guy to spawn a totem for us before we kill him. And there's our totem. Get a little Venn diagram action, love it. And we're at X6. Actually got one of them, which is nice. But we do have to get the other. Perfect. And then we'll chill here for the rest of the storm. And I'm going to go ahead and not kill the snipers, just in the interest of time. I'll kill some of the snipers over here real quick, actually. I actually don't know if they were even up yet. They're there. Get our Devourer. I killed at least one. I don't know if I killed both. I don't really care too much. You should care. Do as I say, not as I do. But like I said, just want to make this video a little bit shorter. And I can see the boss is absolutely bum rushing me. So I'm going to use invis cooldowns just to stay safe. And we'll start taking this guy out. Of course, wait until he spawns one of his totems. Gonna wait a little bit, be patient. Oh! I didn't wait a little bit. I wasn't patient. But I got lucky. Spawn one right at the last second. Biting Wind ×6, though. ×7. Wasn't paying attention to that as much as I should have been. Almost got me in a bad spot. Make sure you're paying attention to that Biting Wind. Biting Cold. Okay, I got both. X6. Boom. Just in time. I know it can be tempting to get greedy for those, but you will get yourself killed if you greed for them. So, just be patient. Much better to just take it nice and slow. Once again, you can use rockets to kill the snipers, because we have more heavy ammo than anyone could ever know what to do with. That was probably a little risky. I probably shouldn't have dived or dove right after I shot that rocket, because I could have dove right into it, but luckily it turned out okay. Oh, another tip. One final thing I forgot to mention. You'll notice that the charges have an ammo count on them once you pick them up. It's only 15, so it's pretty short. So once you pick up a charge, that basically means that, like, you have got to go dunk it. You don't really have time to put it down, clear out a bunch of enemies, and, like, then go dunk it. The second that it's in your hands, like, it's got to go. Don't get me wrong, you can take a second to chill for a little bit, maybe use your class ability to go invis and then pick it back up. Like, that's completely fine, but yeah, you can't, like, dawdle around for a super long time. Okay, so we're gonna go here. So for example, I can drop it for a second, kill that guy to get devour, and then immediately pick it back up and start running. That's okay, but like I can't like run up, can't drop it and then start killing like a full wave of those dudes. Okay, go ahead and drop this here. Hopefully get our radiant buff. Don't think we're even gonna need it. I'm just gonna slow play this. I'm not really rushing here. Dude's dead. Nice. Probably, I wouldn't say that's the hardest fight, but it's definitely the longest one. He has a lot of HP. Take your time. Don't rush. It's gonna be a endurance test, but yeah. As you can see, was never really in like that much danger at any point. So it's just kind of stringing together a bunch of phases. This final boss, on the other hand, can be pretty dangerous. So we're going to make our way over there. I'm going to show you the things that you should be aware of. There's a particular section on the way to the boss that I really, really want to point out to you. And yeah, show you how to get to the boss safely. And I'll show you how to kill the boss safely. So we're just going to make our way up. I always kind of get lost in here. The dungeon did get released yesterday, so sorry. Still learning it a little bit, or, well, by the time I'm uploading this, I guess it'll be 2 days ago. Love going invis to just run past those guys. Careful, once again, here, as these rocks can fall. This one falls, so be careful. I always like to let this Screeb go, but I guess he doesn't want to. There we go. Because sometimes, after he jumps, he will jump back at you and, like, hit you in the face and send you flying. So I like to let him go, and then I hop right over here. This is the way you actually go. You don't chase the Screeb. He takes you to, like, one of those locked doors or whatever it is. And then you'll end up here. For this part, what you really want to do is just hug the right side. This part is very, very dangerous. I just love staying invis here and hugging the right side. This rock right here will fall when you jump on it. Another thing you can do is use your dive to reposition, as you can see. Got myself in a little bit of a bad position there because I was trying to stand on the rock for a little too long because I wanted to show you guys that it was one that falls off. Don't do that. Here, I like to kind of scale this side of the wall right here, and then I jump up here, and then I try to get super, super high, and that kind of lets you get over all of the rocks. That part is very tense and very rough. Wait until you have all of your invis cooldowns so that you can make it through there without anything shooting at you. That way you can take it a little more slow, a little more methodical. After you hop up there, we're just, once again, going to run past everything. I have literally no interest in fighting these guys. Gonna hop over here. Hop up onto this rock, take a right, hop up here. One more, we're gonna go through this door. I'm going to weaken this guy and then get a finisher on him, so I get invis. Another section where rocks can fall, so just watch your feet. So we're going to hop on over here. You can make that jump right there. Here's another rock that falls, by the way. This right here. Like I said. And then we have a phalanx right here. Definitely make sure you have a sword for this part. I love Wither Horde there as well, because you can Wither Horde him even if you hit the shield. It will count as a stick and kill him. This rock falls off as well, I believe. Maybe? Maybe not? Nope. So I'll just stick that guy, then I'll hide. Avoid his blast so I don't get knocked off. You know how it goes. Now, we're going to try and get a weapon final blow, get an orb, get our devour, and play things safe. One thing that I don't love about this situation is that I have no invis cooldowns. Not a fun place to be, so I kind of have to like fight for my life with devour. But as long as you kind of like stay back here near these rocks, you should be relatively okay. The boss that kind of hunts you though does hurt a lot, so be careful. So just gonna kind of go ahead over here, and then once all of these enemies spawn back here, love to tether, clumps them all up together. Maybe toss a grenade in there. Absolutely eviscerates every single one of them. Makes your life a lot easier. So we'll come around here, stick that guy, clean up the rest of the mess, and then we're good. When I did my first initial team run, there were a bunch of enemies on this staircase. But every solo run I've done, there are 0 enemies on it. So I don't know if like I'm doing something specific to cause that, or if that's just like what's going on right now. No clue. But anyway, here we are at the final boss. Now, final boss loadout. Again, keeping the same subclass. But I have 2 loadouts here that I like to switch between. Now, if you're not on a system that can do fast loadout swaps, if you don't have fast menu loading times, you can just do this second one that I'll talk about, the Lucky Pants one. If you can do loadout swaps, though, I love going back and forth between Omnioculus and Lucky Pants, because Omnioculus just makes things a little bit safer. So, weapon loadout, got Malfeasance. This is going to be our key boss damage. Does much more damage against Taken, and with Lucky Pants, it absolutely slaps. I like Forbearance a lot. Good for general ad clear. You can kind of use whatever you want here. If you don't have Forbearance, it's okay. And then I like my Apex Predator rocket. Again, if you have Apex Predator, you can use a different rocket. The reason I boss spec on the rocket and not Taken spec is because we use the rocket, actually. We don't use the rocket for boss DPS. Not mainly, at least. We use the rocket to one-shot the large scorn enemies that spawn the Taken totems. That's what the rocket is for. The Malfeasance is what we're going to be doing the majority of our boss damage with. As far as mods go, Kinetic Siphon, because we're now using Malfeasance, Kinetic Loader. I like double arc resist, because a lot of the damage in here is arc, plus 1 void resistance, because the boss deals void damage. You could, maybe if you're struggling more with the boss damage, you can maybe do 2 void and 1 arc. I like the double arc, because the Scions and the Eyes deal arc. Up to you. Kinetic Surge for the Malfeasance, Solar Scavenger to get ammo for the rocket, Time Dilation to help with the Kinetic Weapon Surge. The loadout that I'll be swapping to anytime I'm getting ready to deal DPS is Lucky Pants. The only changes that we really make here, our helmet mods stay the same, glove mods stay the same, chest mods stay the same, and our class item mods stay the same. Only difference is we swap one of our Solar Scavengers for a second Kinetic Weapon Surge. That way we get 17% bonus kinetic weapon damage as opposed to 10% bonus. Other than that, I think that is pretty much everything for loadout stuff. Let me show you how to do it. So, start with a rally flag. I love Malfeasance here because Malfeasance does like pretty much AoE with the explosions. It 2-taps these balls on the ground, which feels really good. It's just generally a fantastic weapon. 2-taps them if you're close enough, that is, I suppose. Love to start this fight with a dodge, so I can kill that guy, get an orb, pull out the Forbearance, chain reaction. Whoops, completely missed. All good. I like to chill over here in this right side corner. Feels really, really good. Like to focus the wizards down right when they spawn because they hurt pretty great deal. Like take out the Scions and I'll start working on the Blighted Eyes. I don't worry too much about the corrupted zones, I only really care if I get a corrupted zone in the area that I am trying to play the fight in. Whoops, completely missing. So, I mean, you can constantly clear these corrupted zones. I personally don't really clear them unless there's one in the area that, you know, I'm concerned with. Once these enemies spawn, I like to kind of nuke the scions with my forbearance. Keep that corrupted zone clear. And then the second this dude spawns a totem, he's getting rinsed. And then I run in, invis, and chill on the totems. Now here is the biggest part that I want you to take away from this. See the Hex of Vengeful Corruption? Obviously you trade that off by meleeing this dude. Melee abilities work as well. Meaning you can throw your smoke grenade to make yourself invis and throw it right next to him. And it'll get him. It'll transfer the bot. Love standing here for the DPS phase. As you can see, I swapped over to my Lucky Pants Malfeasance loadout right before I started the DPS phase. Unfortunately, didn't have enough damage, but that's okay. But that is what I swapped to when I do my DPS phase. Right after the DPS phase is done, I go back to Omnioculus. Like I said, throwing that right there, by the way, so I can make an orb and Void Breach the Echo Harvest to get my Devour back. Like I said before, you can just do the Lucky Pants the entire time. You do not have to do the loadout swaps. I just like going back and forth to Omnioculus because having 2 smoke charges during the intermission phase feels really, really good. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to show that one more time. This is by far the hardest platform, by the way, to stay alive on. So do not greed for damage on this platform. These platforms, the goal of these platforms is not to deal damage. The goal of these platforms is to just get to the 3 platform phase. Kind of trying to wait for this dude to... There we go. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any melee abilities, so I am going to have to like deal with this guy the usual way. So I kind of like to slide out of the way. Last second, kind of almost got screwed there. While I'm in here, I'll switch back over to my Lucky Pants because I'm about to do damage. Switch to my gun, switch back to my Malfeasance, so I proc illegally modded holster. Sauce this dude up, and since I'm getting hit by a Scion, like I said, we are not greeding for damage here. If you notice that you're taking heat from Scions and stuff like that, you're going to stop doing damage, focus on the Scions. It's okay if it takes you multiple goes. Be patient, play it safe. These ads will not despawn when you go to the next platform, so do make sure that you clear your previous platform before you go up. Oh, there was a Scion hiding on that lower ledge. Interesting. So we're going to get up here. First step is to clear the wizards, because they hurt. We have our Devour up as well, which is nice. Love Malfeasance for this because it body shots the Scions. Feels so good to use. And we're going to go ahead and clean up all the Scions, like I said. This is where the arc resistances are kind of coming in handy. And if we push up here a little bit, then the Scions tend to stop coming behind you. They'll push you on this far side. Sometimes they still will. Looks like that one's kind of curious about it. But I think if we show our head over here, he'll turn his attention over here to us. So we're just going to maintain our Devour. Kill these Scions. I want to make sure this is reloaded as well. And we're just going to take our time. Like all these orbs right here so I can get armor charges for my kinetic siphon. Not kinetic siphon, sorry, kinetic weapon surge. Then once we kill all that, we're going to back it up a touch. Shoot that. I like pulling my forbearance out here to kind of mop up all the Scions. Once that's out, rocking in the hell out of this guy. And then before I start hanging out in here, I like to shoot the Hex Drinker to get his attention so he starts running over to me. Then I go invis. He'll continue running over to me. Wherever he is. Throw the smoke bomb, because melee ability counts. He'll die. That allows me to come over here. Get this back. Then we're damage time. Shoot the tether. Do a little bit of damage, and oh, no, some Scions are pushing me, so that means I just stop doing damage, chill out a little bit, make sure I play my life. Remember, damage is not what we're greeting for here. So, kill a couple Scions. Get our Smoke Bomb back, get our Devourer back. And we definitely want to make sure we kill these Wizards. So I'm going to try and assassinate them real quick. I got one of them, but I got to make sure to get the other still. For those Wizards, something you can do is you can kind of push up a little bit, play this pillar. Weave in kills in between the, you know, shooting at the Wizard, shooting at the Scions. Get myself in a little bit of trouble there. Another thing you can do alternatively is you can kill the Wizard from this angle. It's probably a safer angle to do it. The only reason I don't love coming over here to kill it is it attracts the Scions to come back here, but probably is a better option now that I'm recording this. So, go ahead and drop all these things. And we're good. Kill the Scions. I also love trying to save my grenade for DPS. What saving your grenade for DPS allows you to do is basically allows you to the dive works on that guy as well, by the way. It allows you to use your grenade to throw any Scions that might come at you, which feels really, really good. So we're gonna go ahead and swap over to Lucky Pants. Switch our weapons, so we're ready to swap Lucky Pants. Get the illegally damaged holster thing, whatever. So like boom, right there. Scions spawn, shoot them with Forbearance, and then if more Scions come, now I can... So yeah, something I actually forgot about Destiny that I learned in Ghost of the Deep that I forgot about until now. Sometimes you will get bird error-coded if you swap loadouts while in possession of armor charge, and your loadouts have different armor charge mods on them. So for example, before I had double kinetic weapon surge on my Lucky Pants, whereas I only had one on my Omnioculus one. So when I had armor charge, I went from 1 to 2 while in possession of armor charge. It can sometimes randomly give you a bird error code. So ignore what I said before, where you should have 1 and Solar Scav on the Omni and 2 on the Lucky Pants. Make sure they're the same. Otherwise, sometimes you'll get error coded. I don't know why that happens in the game, but it does sometimes. So yeah, the last thing you want, obviously, is to get error coded right at the end of the Soul Flawless run, of course. So yeah, learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to endure that pain yourself. Not that it matters that much to me because I've already Soul Flawless, but yeah, definitely not the smoothest way for this video to go. But you know what? At the end of the day, I am actually happy that that happened because that allows me to say like, hey guys, keep an eye out for this, rather than y'all having to learn for yourselves the hard way, which is would break my heart. So, on this third section, I love playing this left side. Try and get that eye right there. And once I clear out everything over here, I like to kind of get up on this rock. There's a little high ground vantage point and start chipping away at this dude. Like to get him nice and weak. And then, of course, the second he puts out his totem, which he has taken his sweet time in doing so. There we go. Put him down. Now we can go ahead, chill them both. Wait for this guy to die. Right here I can go to my Lucky Pants. Got them both. Shoot the tether. And guess who didn't have their Malfeasance reloaded? So we'll go ahead and reload it, switch the rocket, get 2 rockets off, then get a couple of Malfeasance shots. Now, this is where the bulk of your damage comes in. We're going to stick with the Malfeasance right after we phase him right there. We're going to hop down, go invis, chill, wait for our out of luck to finish its cooldown. Once it does that, we'll go ahead and go invis again. I actually probably shouldn't have done that. I probably should have kept 1 invis cooldown. You'll see why in a second, so I'm going to wait for my dodge to come back up. We can chill here infinitely. This phase only progresses when you jump up onto that platform. So what you can do is you can chill down here, wait for your out of luck. You can even take it as far as waiting for your super. If you really want to. If you really want to take it that far, I'm not going to for the sake of time with this video. Once you're ready, you'll hop up here, hang out behind this statue. It's kind of a little head glitch. juice the dude full of your, once you get your full Malfeasance mag off, or once you start getting weak, you're going to hop off, chill down here, wait for your out of luck to replenish, wait for another invis cooldown. You can even wait for your tether again if you want to. You're just going to hang out. The boss will, he'll sit there forever. You can go to the bathroom. You can go get a drink if you want to. You can do whatever you want here. We're just taking our sweet time. This is where the bulk of our damage is, and we want a full Lucky Pants burst on every single phase. This is why I said you don't really have to worry about the swaps too much, because here is where the bulk of your damage is coming from. You can just do most of it with Lucky Pants. Once you're ready to go, take that exact route that I just took, hang out behind the statue right here, Malfeasance out. We're going to use this statue as our block. And if you get your full mag off and you still have a decent amount of HP, you can even get some rockets in as well. After that section, I like to hop down here before making my way back up, just because it's an easier route off of the platform. And then to get to the final platform, I like to go right here. So I'll hop on this rock, hop over here, and then here, as you can see, I have my tether back. And another learning moment that I just completely messed up. You'll notice that I'm out of luck already. So I'm going to chill here, wait for my invis cooldown to go back. And I'm going to get a full mag of Malfeasance off right here. So what happened there, basically, you can even use invis cooldowns, by the way, to get multiple mags of Malfeasance off. You can just chill in invis while the out of luck debuff runs out. The thing that happened there was I had my Malfeasance out, and I used my tether, which technically stows the Malfeasance. So then, when you pull the Malfeasance out after the tether, it'll be ready to go with the Lucky Pants. So if you swap to another weapon, like I just did right there, right after I tethered, it'll go straight to out of luck. So that's how I kind of messed myself up right there. Another good learning moment. This seems to be full of these. But I do want to do one more run, show you guys a really clean, how this is really supposed to look if you're optimized. So obviously kill all the wizards. Reload our gun real quick. Kill that blob. Did I get that wizard? Yeah, I did. I don't see it shooting at me. Kill these blighted eyes. Reload our gun, because whatnot. And we're going to go ahead and start taking out some of these scions. Get a grenade off right there. And we'll get one rocket to weaken him up. And, oh, he already put his thing down, so we can get our second rocket and just one-shot him. Immediately go invis, chill in the Venn diagram. And I'm going to try and get the attention of our little melee friend, so he runs towards us. Throw our little smoke grenade, because it'll transfer it. Swap to our Lucky Pants, hit our reload. Crouch right here. This is the best spot to be. It's the safest. I like to back up a little bit so you don't take splash damage from the boss. Shoot our tether, and then it's Malfeasance time from way back here. I know there's a Scion to my left shooting at me a little bit. I know I have my dodge just in case things do get kind of hairy, so I'm not super worried. I probably played that a little more dangerously than I should have, though, but ended up being okay. So we're going to go ahead and clear this out so we don't have enemies shooting us in the butt. Get back to our Omnioculus. Once again, like I said, don't have to do Omnioculus swaps. I just like them because they're safe. But hop up here. Let's take out all these wizards. There's one dead. Make sure this wizard isn't flanking us. Make sure these scions aren't messing with us as well. And that wizard ran all the way over there. Malfeasance has such good range. Feels fantastic. Reload this bad boy. Make sure our grenade launcher is loaded up, which it is, so we're good to go. Break that orb. Get all these blighted eyes out of the way. And there's everything. Gonna try and save my grenade, like I said before. So we can use it on that guy. Probably would be even better to save it for DPS phase, actually. But, you know, up to you. And so now we're going to hang out here. We already have the guy spawn on us, which is perfect. Which means we can get him right away. I'm going to go ahead and use a dive to refresh my invis, go back to my lucky pants, reload my gun so I'm ready to go. And we're going to get ready to absolutely nuke the boss. Make sure my forbearance is reloaded too, just in case I have some scions spawn right in front of me, because sometimes they do, as you can see right there. Use the forbearance to completely one-shot all of them. And we're just going to absolutely melt this boss with our malfeasance. And we are out. Phase him. Back to our Omnioculus. Another dodge, refresh a smoke. Make an orb as well, so we get our devour. And once again, going to clean up this floor, since these enemies will not despawn. As you can see, using your rockets on the large squad enemies is not a problem. There is so much ammo in the arena. You have your solar scavenger. Your ammo is never going to be a big problem, so never worry about that. You're also really not using it on the boss either until you get to final stand. More on that in a second, obviously. But, yeah. Going to continue dropping these guys. And I'm going to show you how you can get even more damage on the boss if you'd like to. It is a kind of optional bonus damage if you're feeling a little saucy. You'll see what I mean. Alright, so let's get these scions out of here first. And like I said before, love coming up here, get a little grenade off. Get like my high vantage point. Get one rocket into him. That butters him up. And then the second he puts his totem down, we're just gonna start we're gonna eviscerate him. We're gonna get this guy's aggro, so he runs over to us. Hit our dive, which will transfer the corruption. Hit a dodge. So we refresh our invis, come up here, lucky pants. And I'm actually going to save my tether here. You'll see why in a second. We're just going to absolutely nuke this dude. Which, even without tether, malfeasance damage is enough to phase him. Then we're going to jump down here, hit our dive. And you'll see why I save my tether right here. So, if you want to get more damage here, like I said, and like I alluded to in the previous phase, let's kill these scions real quick so they're not bothering us. Like I alluded to in the previous phase, you can wait down here for your tether, and when you get up here, you can basically use invis to spend bonus time up here. The reason that's important is because if you have your tether up here, while you're tethering the boss, the tether will stick to all of the eyes as well, which means your rocket damage will kill the eyes. Which means you can stay up here for actually a little bit of extra time to get even more DPS off. It's not necessary, but it just does, it feels really nice to be able to get a little bit of bonus chunk out of the boss if you'd like to. Obviously that does only work when you have your tether. Don't have our tether anymore, and I'm not going to sit there for 5 minutes, because that'll make the video super, super long. So we're just going to kind of showcase this right here. Sauce him up. And then I'm going to actually try and slide right here, so I can get an invis cooldown back. I was trying to wait it out so I could hopefully get another round of malfeasance in him, but he made the platform taken before I could. My suspicion is that he might do that if you're invis for too long, because according to the boss AI, like, he can't detect you anymore, so he just assumes that you're no longer on the platform. So he assumes that you left, so he'll just make it taken. Yeah, whole lot of things you can do here. That's just one of them. Malfeasance out. We can test that theory, actually, I suppose. So let's say I unload that full thing, do this, re-show myself. Yeah, no. It looks like the second you go invis, it kind of like starts a timer, so that he won't like aggro you anymore, so he thinks you're gone, so he'll start to kick you off. Good to know. I generated an orb right there, so let's go pick that up for Devour, and we're almost at final stand right here. And I'll show you what you're going to want to do for final stand. Big tip for final stand, by the way. Make sure you have your tether. Do not enter final stand without tether. I don't care if you have to sit there and just like twiddle your thumbs around while your supercharges. Make sure you have tether for final stand. You'll see why in a moment. I mean, you actually kind of already have seen why, but you'll see. I don't want to discuss it until we actually get there, because then I'll be talking about it, but I don't have like a visual reference, so it'll be tough for you to kind of understand what I'm saying. So we're gonna just continue mopping up these dudes. I'm getting a little weak here, taking on a little too much heat, so we're gonna chill out a little bit. Just saw him spawn the totem, which means we can nuke him with rockets. Finish him off. We're gonna dive in, so we hit this guy, pass off our buff. Then we're gonna hit a dodge. Then here we can probably swap to our lucky pants. That guy will die. We'll take our offensive position right here. And absolutely nuke the boss. Like I said, I like to stay back a little bit because it helps prevent you getting hit by his splash damage. Get a little double rocket into him so we can phase him to the next section. And I should be able to phase him to final stand without having tether. So that's going to be a good situation for me. That way I can make sure I have tether when I take him to final. So hop up here, get a grenade off, maybe get those wizards. Still Devourer, which is great. And that's both wizards dead. And we're going to roam around here, so the Scions push us this direction. Boom, boom, boom. Start taking out all these blighted eyes. I know I'll have my tether by the time the boss goes to final stand, so that's why I'm kind of rushing a little bit. Go ahead and 2-tap that. We have a Scion behind us. Gonna weaken this guy up. He just put his totem down, which means we're good to kill. Gonna dive. And I'm gonna shoot at this guy so we get his aggro, so he starts walking towards us. Go smoke bomb to transfer the Veil Corruption. Go back to our Malfeasance. Sorry, not Malfeasance, our Lucky Pants is what I meant to say. So forbearance those guys, so we have no Scion shooting at us in the middle. And here we are at final stand. I love playing this right side pillar, and I use my tether here so I can tether the boss. The tether will stick to all of the eyes and kill all of the eyes when you deal damage to the boss, which makes it a night and day difference because then you have pretty much nothing shooting at you. Play this right side pillar when you do it, by the way. Do not do this left, because if you do the left, you're standing on this taken orb, and you'll take damage over time. So this right one is key. Very simple. Tether boss. I like to start off with a rocket, because the rocket explosive damage goes ahead and mops up all of those eyes super easily with one shot because of that tether. And then you can do your Lucky Pants Malfeasance. You can even use invis cooldowns too if you're struggling to get enough damage off. You know, do some damage, go invis, let your health recover. You know, let it regen a little bit while you're invis. Then you can go ahead, get your next Malfeasance, Lucky Pants damage bonus ready. You're good to go. Hopefully that helps. Like I said, I'm going to do class-specific guides that are a little bit more streamlined. This was just an effort to, one, provide a little bit of entertainment if you wanted to see how I do solo flawless, like, you know, very key step-by-step. And hopefully, like, you know, for those of you who want a very step-by-step detailed guide, where to stand, where to shoot, every single possible detail that you could possibly imagine. The purpose of this was to hopefully accomplish that. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it a lot so I can help you with more stuff. Thank you so much for watching. As always, have a great day.